Overseas pickup for geeks. Rule number 2. Game is a spectrum. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about game because one thing that I've noticed being overseas is that game, quote unquote, game is really is a very American thing. This idea that you have to learn this kind of way of talking and this mannerism, all these things you have to learn how to do in succession to be good at talking to women. That's I don't think that that's a very world thing, at least not from my observations. And the reason I say that is because I know regular, normal people that are married to beautiful women. Regular people, regular old people, people doing regular old stuff. Not rich, not movie stars, not having hundreds of millions of TikTok followers, just regular people with beautiful women and as their wives. So this idea that you have to be this super cocky, funny guy that knows the next thing to say, my experience is that once you get outside of America, it's not really that important. So when I'm talking about game, what I'm really talking about is just, approaching people and being interesting, okay? With that said, I want to talk about how game is a quote unquote spectrum, and that means basically that it's not one size fits all. And so I want to start by saying that really game is just being yourself, okay? And so for some guys, game is being in a really tip-top shape and having a lot of muscles. And for other guys, it's being super funny. And for other guys, it's being artistic. And for some guys, it's just being funny. And so we know that, probably from the States, but I would say being overseas, I have noticed that there's no one type of guy that gets, quote unquote, all the girls. I mean, it doesn't hurt to be tall and in shape, but my point is that there are geeky guys who can still, get, wives or whatever, right? And there are funny guys that can do it, and there are guys that are overweight that can do it. And I'm not talking about doing it because you're rich. It's just because you are an interesting person to the person you're dealing with. And I say that to say that for us, we have the advantage. When I spoke in the first video about being, if you are indeed a Black American, or even if you're just American, period, you're a rarity. So that is already on your side. So we add that rarity to the fact that you are a unique person that is also rare. So example, like let's say that you are a person who is good at tennis, right? You might be really good at tennis. And so you come and you go to another country and you meet a girl and you're like, oh, you're really nice, you're really cute. I want to go on a date with you. You want to do something fun? And she says, what do you want to do? It's like, oh, let's play tennis, right? And like from that minute, you know that, oh, she doesn't even know how good I am at tennis. And so you can get on the court and you start playing. It's like, oh, you know what? Let me teach you. And then that's your game, right? You don't have to learn all these whatever. Your game might just be that you're good at something. Right? Your game might just be that you have a strong interest in the culture. So when I say that, I don't want guys to think that, oh, I got to learn all this stuff, or I got to worry about having game and all this stuff when I go overseas. Just be an interesting person and just have something that makes you unique and lean into that, right? And just be yourself. And I would tell you, I can't say unequivocally, but certainly much more so than in America, that you're not penalized for being a boring regular guy. Like you can be a boring regular guy with one or two things that's interesting, and in the right environment, you'll be just fine. The second thing I want to say is that you should play this game on your terms, okay? And what I mean by that is, for some guys, a lot of guys that are coming overseas, they're trying to get, I don't know, they're thinking about the scene in Rush Hour 2 and Chris Tucker. They open the doors and it's like 40, 50 beautiful women, and it's like 3 women massaging him. And like, okay, some guys are thinking about that, okay? But when I say play the game on your terms, what if you're not looking for all of that? You just want to get one decent chick. Even if the one decent chick is not going to be your wife or anything, just one person to have a good time with for a week or two. You can do that. You could go to a certain place and And if that's the way you want to play the game, have your one girlfriend or your however you want to do it, or depending on if you're staying for a long time or a short time, have your one person you deal with, and that's the person that that's your girlfriend. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You do not have to be a Mac. All of us aren't built to be Macs. As a matter of fact, that I don't even understand the appeal of being a Max, especially in the age of these STDs out here. I am not a proponent of trying to run up my body count. It doesn't make logical sense to me with all of the risk out there. Like, if I'm fine with one or I said one or two, but one good girlfriend beats 10 one-night stands to me. Then that's me. So when I say play the game on your terms, know what you're looking for, and go about how you're going to do to do so. And another point is that if you're not a nightclub person, don't go to nightclubs to pick up your girlfriend. There are other places you can go. You don't have to do the night thing as your means of play the game on your terms. Okay? Spontaneous and planned, they both work. So there's the whole thing where you think of the right thing to say that's funny, and you could get her attention, you get her number, okay, fine. But planned works just as well. And when I say planned is, I spoke about tennis earlier, but it doesn't have to be tennis. It could be you took 6 months of salsa dance lessons before you went. You studied some bachata or merengue lessons, right? It could be that you followed a certain soccer or football team for a amount of time, or you got really into one or two of the dramas on television, and then you met someone and you say, you know what, I don't want to really go out, but how about you come back to my place and we watch the drama that you can start watching for 6 months, or things like that, right? And that's game also. You don't have to be this person that can speak fluent, whatever, because it takes time to get fluent. But just play the game your way and find your thing. Your thing might be, oh, I really like watching I think there's a show called High Five. I'm not sure it's still on or not. But if you're a person that's really into that variety show and you meet someone and they were like, oh, you want to go to the club? Actually, I kind of want to just sit down and watch High Five. And they're like, oh, I love that show. Boom. That's your game. You don't have to be this Mac out here. You don't have to be good at the what I got to say right now. And you don't have to. It's a spectrum. And if you're a guy who's just looking for one girl, one lady, you don't have to be super dope Macalicious. You don't have to do all that. All you got to do is win one time. Also, I want you guys, when I say be a cornerback, you got to remember, if you're in a different culture, you're gonna deal with people that are much different than you. So cornerbacks have short memories, right? So if you ask out whoever and they're like, oh, gross, you're gross. I mean, sometimes it might be a reason that has absolutely nothing to do with who you are. They don't want to date someone that happens to be black. They don't want to date someone who happens to be a foreigner. They don't want to date someone who can't speak their language fluently. They don't want to date you because they have a boyfriend right now. It could be a whole host of things. So don't let any of that stuff kind of bother you. And last thing I want to say is, and I'll wrap this up, I don't think game is nearly as important as frame is. And when I say frame, what I basically mean is, you meet someone, you get all wrapped up in them, and you kind of just not stop being yourself, right? If you are in a relationship, you like the person, but you say, hey, listen, this is where my lines are. Don't mess with me here. Don't mess with my boundaries, or I'm gonna have to break it off. Or from the beginning of the relationship, you say, hey, listen, I really like you, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, this is what I'm looking for. I don't want you to get anything misconstrued, and this is what it is. Being able to take that logical part and just, even if you're dealing with a really wonderful person, but you understand, I want to go back and I can't send you money, or I don't want to be your sugar daddy, or I'm only looking for something casual, or don't talk to me a certain way, or I'm not going to handle, I'm not going to play games with you, any of that stuff. Being able to maintain that frame is, I think, 1,000 times more important than all of the game tactics and all that stuff. I think it's 1,000 times more important. I think if you can keep some frame, if you can be able to forget, getting turned down, because of the myriad of reasons. If you have a kind of a plan of attack, might be spontaneous, it might be you studying something before you go there. You understand the kind of way you're going to play the game and what you're looking for, and if you're really comfortable in yourself and what you're going to do to get the attention of a woman, I think that is all the game that you need. I don't think that you need all this kind of cocky, funny stuff and all this book stuff you learn in game and all this push-pull. I don't think you need any of that. I think all you need, especially once you get out of outside of America, where basically talking to a woman is probably a lot more difficult because, for whatever reasons. You get away from that and you just talk to people that are basically just interested in, interested in meeting a guy, interested in dating a guy, interested in a chance to date someone that they might have a relationship with. I think you could take a lot of that game stuff to the side, make sure you have frame, and play the game on your own terms. With that, guys, thank you for listening. I will take a break from all these from normal videos and just talk to you guys about some of the ways that you can use quote unquote game when you get overseas, and give you some practical methods. So I hope that you guys are taking these videos to heed. Please like, subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, please write them down below. Thanks, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.